Greetings, everybody. Welcome to 4K for You. It's time once again to talk some physical media. I am Tom Connors. With me is my partner in crime, Valliant Renegade.
How y'all doing? Renegade. I'll take that today. That's fine. And today live at 6 instead of 5. But we're still here. We're still live with 4K for You.
Sorry late today, but there were some things going on. But hopefully that didn't muck up anybody's schedules too much. And welcome, Greg of FanZcene. How are you doing?
Doing good. How you doing?
Doing the best I can with what I got, and that's all they're getting out of me. So hopefully you're doing well as well.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Hopefully we'll have a good show today.
I hope so. We got some things to talk about. It didn't seem like it was going to be that way until all of a sudden Shout Factory decided to shower us.
Yes.
With, I was going to say gifts, but gifts don't take money from my wallet.
It's like I said, my wallet died years ago.
What's a wallet?
Exactly.
Oh, Lord. So, yeah, we're going to get into all that business here real soon, but let's just say hello to everybody real quick first. We've got David Rayner in the house. Dragon Master's here. We got Duck Nation. We have SP in the house. Cosmic Squirrels here. And that's right. It'd be 4K for You. It's 4 p.m. somewhere. I think on the West Coast. We also have Dr. Coffin Nails here. Coffee Lovers here. Cyber Soldiers here. Toxic Dust. Welcome, everybody. How are you doing? Hopefully you're doing well. I see Max Mercer, Film Watcher as well. Luke Karlwitz, if I'm saying that right. Art. We got Dermot McQuaid, Pete Dencat. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Hit that like button. Please share out the stream. I see LQ3 and Victor Fontaine and Stan Lee also joining. Oh, and Steven's in the house. How you doing, Steven? AKA Deleted Scenes. Good to see you. Good to see you. So, yeah, let's not waste too much time. We've got a few announcements, and I don't know if we have much for rumors, but what you got for us this week?
Just got 2 rumors. If you're a fan of the Adventures of Batman, I believe, can't remember what year that was, like the 60s, maybe 70s.
The New Adventures? That one would be somebody had corrected me. I thought this was the one with Burt Ward and
yeah, I think it's with Burt Ward and Adam West.
No, actually, I think this is the one with Casey Kasem, and I can't remember the other guy's name.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So this, I think the one is
Casey Kasem.
Yeah, so this will be the Max Mercer says it's the 80s one.
Oh, the 80s one. Okay, I couldn't remember the year that was in, but according to a Canadian retailer, B2B, The Adventures of Batman: The Complete Collection is coming to Blu-ray on October 4th, but it's not been proven to be true, so that's why it's in the rumor pile.
Interesting.
Yeah, so if you guys are a fan of that show, I mean, who doesn't love a little Batman every once in a while? So there's
Absolutely.
that. Yeah.
And I have a feeling we might be getting some interesting announcements from Warner in the next few weeks since they're shifting some of their focus too, but that's a conversation for another time or later.
Exactly. Maybe we'll get some good stuff like the Adventures of Batman and like the old shows again on Blu-ray or something. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, because I don't know if Valiant's even heard about this, but they removed a bunch of their HBO Max exclusives and they took that moniker off of them.
Yes.
Of the talking about the actual shows that are
movies and stuff.
So
they only left a few on, and the rest of them now are up for like digital sale and all that stuff.
Oh, okay, gotcha. No, I had not seen.
And and it sounds like there's a bunch of stuff that's been shut down. I mean, I'll send you some of the stories because there's a bunch of moving and shaking going on
Big
over
time.
at Warner Brothers right now. Like everybody's like, the house is on fire! The house is on fire!
Well,
David's coming through just all like,
you're gone. You're gone. It's like that scene in Terminator, the first Terminator, when you go to the police station.
Well, I was going to tell you, we will probably hear a lot more news tomorrow if I can swing it and I can get home in time. I'm going to try to, if I can't get there right when it starts, I'm going to do my best to get home and live cover the very first Warner Brothers Discovery financial report for the
if I'm allowed, I'd love to kind of join you for that before we do our regular show, to be honest with you. What time does that start, though?
It will, it'll kick off at 3:30 our time, Tom Central.
Ooh, I don't know if I'll be back by then or not because I have an appointment.
That's
to be
the tricky thing. Now, here's the thing: is that they usually run for about an hour.
Yeah.
The first 10 to 15 minutes are kind of the boilerplate.
So actually, it might even be over before our normal time anyway. So if not, you'll just have to bring all the good details with you.
Oh yeah. It will never run it's not going to go till 6 o'clock Central. There's no way.
Well, I don't think we're going to get a bunch of announcements or anything on this. This is just going to be a quarterly.
It's going to be a quarterly a stock report, financial report for the company. Yeah, it's a quarterly earnings report. But the idea is that it's not an accident that a lot of these announcements are coming like with Batgirl and Scoob and all this stuff right now because they're clearing the decks for tomorrow. Yeah. And while I don't expect David Zaslav on the call to necessarily address these things specifically, I'm sure that when they get to the Q&A at the end, as most of these companies will do, you're going to have somebody that might come from a Goldman Sachs or a Morgan Stanley that it might ask about, hey, we saw some recent news where there's several major titles being canceled and tossed out. Would you care to elaborate on that? And
that's what Zaslav will probably say is we're cutting the fat, boys.
Yeah, I think. Look, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a bunch of fun. It might even be more fun than Disney's next Wednesday. I think because Zaslav's going to walk in there just going to whip it out and slap it on the table, kind of thing is what I expect. So anyway, I'm going to try to do that tomorrow, so we might get some more fun stuff. Like I said, I think Tom's right. No major announcements in terms of big movies, although it's possible. But I expect to hear more kind of high level stuff that might hint at where they might be going. Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
Cool. Yeah, and on the physical media front, that could mean some good news for us fans because I think they noticed that physical media is something they still need to address and have, and that's why I think with the Snyder Cut and some of those other things that have been recent releases for them. But anyway, what else you got for us, Greg?
And the other rumor, if you're a fan of late night 90s sort of like sex horror comedy type things, the Invisible Maniac may finally be getting a Blu-ray.
You were talking about this one, and I'm not even aware of this one, but I mean, it sounds interesting. But okay.
Yes, I love the Invisible Maniac. That movie's crazy. The DVD and VHS is horrible to find. It's outrageous. But Adam Rifkin, the director of that film, responded to a fan who tweeted out, "Is there any update on the Invisible Maniac Blu-ray? The guy thought we'd see it this year," and he says, "All good things come to those who wait." So looks like it's in the pipeline. And he did do a commentary session with Elijah Drenner, who does special features for Arrow, Shout, Kino, and stuff like that. So that's pretty much that's where the rumors come in, is that he recorded a commentary for the Invisible Maniac.
Yeah, as I say, I think you remember saying saying something about that last week. But, all right, well, that's cool. Yeah.
So there's that. That's about it for the rumor front that I got.
Okay. Well, before we get into the announcement, speaking of Warner Brothers, there's something that we do need to address. Big elephant in the room. And I know you did a video about this, Greg. Mm-hmm. Now, Valliant, I'm sure you share these feelings, but I'm interested to hear your take on this. Fire whoever the fuck decided these were good ideas.
Yeah, I know we talked about Poltergeist last week. We didn't bring up Lost Boys, but
Lost Boys not as bad, but Poltergeist is just Like even Robert Meyer Burnett called them out on Poltergeist. Like, did they even see the fucking movie?
Yeah.
Like,
it's crazy. Yeah, I did a whole video on bringing back the art of the cover art. These studios have just gotten, they're clearly just lazy and just like hiring people.
You know what?
Jobs.
At this point, guys, don't even fucking worry about what we're saying. What's his face over that Disc Father? Just steal his.
Yeah,
because all he does is just throw the poster art with a 4K ultra. Just do that from now on. If you're
why
gonna do
wouldn't
this
you
shit,
do that? Why?
Right?
Why are you paying people new money to come up with this shit?
Exactly.
Why you I mean, I agree. Use the original poster art. Who are you selling these titles to? You're not selling Poltergeist and the Lost Boys to Gen Zers and millennials and shit. You're selling it to the Gen Xers that grew up with these films that were old enough to remember them, people like us, right? We remember what the original cover art looked like. You know why? Because if we didn't see it in the theater, we bought it on VHS, and then we bought it on Laserdisc, and then we bought it on DVD, and then we bought it on Blu-ray, so on and so forth. We know what this is supposed to look like. And if you want to sell to your already built-in audience, to who's going to buy these films, make it look like something recognizable. It's not that hard. I don't understand this. Like, let's go out and find this one weird shot of maybe Craig T. Nelson standing in front of the house with the light coming out of the window when he turned around. I mean, I remember that scene, but that's not the iconic scene. And this is shit.
Yeah,
it's like Stand By Me. Maybe for a soundtrack re-release for like a special edition of the soundtrack, maybe that would be like okay with this.
I don't even like how the Lost Boys titling.
Yeah, that's the problem is, it doesn't really catch your eye. It doesn't really invoke anything from the movie.
No,
I know the scene, but I'm like,
it's horrible.
It's not what if anything, just put this fucking shirtless saxophone player on the cover. That says more about Lost Boys than this shit does.
You could just I still believe.
You need
Kiefer Sutherland believe in the Lost Boys.
That's it. Kiefer Sutherland with fangs.
Or even just fangs. To be honest with you, just mouth with fangs would have been better than this.
Yeah.
Like a Rocky Horror homage almost kind of thing would have been better than this. But no, you're right. Even just a picture of young Kiefer Sutherland with a nice wry look on his face, with the fangs is more than enough to sell that movie. I mean, he's so iconic, right? And this, like I said, this one isn't as bad. I mean, I hate this artwork, but I could handle this if it was like a record album or something like that. This is pure fucking assassination of a classic film, especially considering how iconic the original Poltergeist art is, right? Like, I mean, come the fuck on.
Little Carol Ann touching a TV screen. That's it.
Exactly. All they need it. And I actually retweeted that what Robert Meyer Burnett tweeted out. I retweeted with something saying that they should just use the original poster art. And then somebody dropped this poster in the response saying this poster because it was in a magazine. And it was a black and white, and I was like, "That's not even the original poster. That was just like, when you flip through a magazine or something."
Yeah, the original poster is out there.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like the original poster, just Carol Ann with the hands on that, the TV and everything. Yeah.
Right here, I'll grab it right now.
Oh, you can just Google Poltergeist movie and see
it's
what the first image is.
Yeah, it's the first thing that pops up.
At least for the Blu-ray, they even did like a manipulated version for the Blu-ray back in the day, and I didn't even care for that so much, but. I mean, here's the original right here. I mean, come on. I mean, that's iconic as fuck. That's all you need.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's your case. Put 4K across the top of it.
Yeah.
That
image right there is so synonymous with Poltergeist.
The one
just like the second one is the one with her on the telephone. But anyway, what were you saying?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was just saying the one I always remember was the one that had more of a blue tint to it.
That's the Blu-ray cover,
right? Well, it had kind of like that blue wash from the snow on the TV screen, where
that's the newer Blu-ray.
Yeah,
it's never
the
actually.
Same thing.
Yeah, I mean the straight color of the black and white version is the more or less regular known one, but they did this blue hue tint to it for the Blu-ray and added this TV line shit to it.
Yeah. Which I like, because if you ever sat in a room late at night with a TV screen on like that, and most TVs are, especially back in those days with those big console sets, it's not like they had the greatest color calibration. It used to have a very blue tint.
Well, I didn't mind this as much because it's just the same art, just tweaked.
Yeah. Slight tweak.
But no, I just wanted to take a few minutes to gripe about that.
Do it. I made a whole video about it.
Especially considering we're getting as we're getting into because Shout Factory, aka Scream Factory, decided to drop some announcements on us. Now, some of these we had kind of rumored before, but some of these came out in kind of the blue.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that in just a moment here, because speaking of cover art, there's some bad ones again. So what do you got for announcements, Greg? Besides the Shout Factory ones, we'll save those for last.
Okay, I'll give you your favorite. Mill Creek announced one title. The Replacement Killers with Chow Yun Fat and Mira Sorvino.
We did bring that up, but we didn't get to see this cover last week, but now we have seen it.
And that comes out October 4th. And then Kino Lorber is releasing The Eyes of Laura March on Blu-ray with the limited edition.
The rest of her.
Hopefully so. With the limited edition O-Card slipcase on October 18th.
Okay.
And Kino is also releasing Happy Birthday to Me on October 18th with the limited edition O-Card slipcase.
I was going to say, wasn't that released before? I could swear I even have that
by Mill Creek. It was released by Mill Creek.
Yeah, I think I have that one.
Yes. And then Planes, Trains, and Automobiles has been announced for finally on 4K.
One that kind of pissed me off because I thought we were getting it last year.
Yeah.
When they released that Steelbook.
It better be releasing in time for Thanksgiving, god damn it.
It is coming out September 8th.
All right, I'm pretty
November 8th. I'm sorry, November 8th.
Just in time for Thanksgiving.
Yeah. November 8th on 4K from Paramount. So this is not Kino or anything.
Speaking of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, would that be a good place for us to talk about that other thing I found
sure.
via Bill Hunt, you guys? Did you want to talk about that real quick, Valiant, or no?
Wait, I'm sorry. For which part?
I don't know. You may not have seen it because I know you were busy earlier, but this is really fucking cool. I think you're not going to mind.
No. Go ahead. I've been out of the loop. It's been crazy busy.
On the show here, we're talking about.
You send me this.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about some other releases, and this is something that I feel like needs a spotlight. This is a brand new soundtrack set from the movies of John Hughes. It's called Life Moves Pretty Fast, and it looks like it's going to be awesome.
It really does.
You get stuff from, everything from 16 Candles, Ferris Bueller, Breakfast Club, all that kind of shit. Some kind of wonderful, even National Lampoon's Vacation. They have the vacation song, all that good stuff.
That's
so
awesome.
Here you can get it in a set of albums, or you can get a deluxe set that's CDs, and it has a cassette with it as well.
I like the cassette.
There's all kinds of cool stuff that are going to be in this. Like I said, there's going to be an exclusive reissue of the 7-inch single Beat City and I'm Afraid, originally distributed by the John Hughes Fan Club. So this looks like it's going to be really cool. It's already up for listing in the UK, so that means you will have to import it. Now, I got the CD version, and it cost me roughly a little over $100 to get the full thing and imported. But if you're curious what the track listing is, we can highlight a few of them here anyway.
Oh, the soundtrack, man, those are amazing.
You got like Kaja Gugu, you got Don't Forget About Me, of course. How could you not, right? Like that's synonymous. You got Weird Science, of course.
Oh, awesome.
All the main stuff. You got, of course, the Beat City shows up on here again. You get Pretty in Pink, all the things that you would expect to pretty much get out of this are here. You got New Order. You've got, just so much great shit here. I don't know if you guys can really read this. It's probably hard, but
it's all the John Hughes music.
Exactly. Everything. Yeah. Try a Little Tenderness. Yellow's on here. Like I said, Lindsey Buckingham.
Try a little. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's. I can't wait for this. And of course, I have most of these already.
Right.
But it's just so awesome to have this set, and for somebody who's getting into music collecting, or if you really want to, because the record collection is a little bit more pricey, obviously, than the CD collection. So if obviously you're somebody who is just getting into like collecting and stuff like that, that might be something that really kind of gets your juices flowing. So
that's pretty awesome.
Sander,
I dig that.
of course you do, Sander. And yes, those aren't pillows. I didn't even see if any of the
How about them bears?
I was gonna say I should look closer and see. I didn't see any of the Plane, Trains, and Automobiles songs around there, but I have that soundtrack too. That one's a little harder to come by.
Yeah, that song.
Oh yeah, there's a few things from Planes, Trains on here, so that's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, so there's a nice mix of all of his films, it looks like, on here. Even Billy Idol, Love and Rockets, Echo and the Bunnymen, I mean, Thompson Twins, Dream Academy, just an 80s explosion. Los Lobos is on here, even Brian Ferry's on here. I said Dream Academy already, sorry. Spandu Ballet. I mean, a lot of great stuff. So I don't know. I mean, growing up with the Hughes films, though, I think that's going to be a great trip down memory lane, nostalgia wise, or it could make a perfect gift this Christmas, I think, to a Hughes fan.
Mm-hmm. I know what I'll be asking for.
Yeah. I do have the Ferris Bueller La La Land records, but I'll still get this. Like I said, I have like probably 90% of these songs, but I don't care. This just looks so cool.
It really does. It really does.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the announcements, my friend.
Okay. Arrow this October is releasing Videodrome on 4K. However, that's only in the UK. But with 4K, it is region free. So
usually,
you can just get it off of Zavi.
I'm sure
if you want to, or Diabolic DVD or something. No, I'm sure
I've seen Videodrome, and maybe I didn't get it when I saw it. I was like, because I was like a teenager when I saw it. I was just kind of like, this is weird.
You didn't like that vagina and
like, this is RoboCop. He's watching videos, and what the fuck is this? Like, is that a vagina? That's about the only good one Arrow was released. Other than Count Yorga, if you like the Count Yorga films, that's coming to Blu-ray in October from them in the U.S., Canada, and the UK. Does that count like a Dracula movie? Do I have to get it?
I think it is sort of like a Dracula movie.
God damn it!
It's I actually just got a VHS. I know VHS. I'm a loser, but I just actually got a Count Yorga VHS that I haven't watched yet. So I don't quite know what it's about, but I've heard of it. Yeah, I think it might be a vampire Dracula type thing.
All right, maybe.
Yeah, that's about it for Arrow. I mean, Two Witches. We are the night or something. That's about it for them. But looks like Shout Factory will be releasing Bad Santa 2 on Blu-ray.
Yeah, I didn't notice if there was anything different from.
Yeah.
Other than maybe I think you get the rated and unrated version together. I think is the only different maybe than
probably. It doesn't really say much,
but I can't remember. Yeah.
Yeah, it's October 4th if you want it.
I mean, what would even be the use of a new scan? I mean, wasn't that movie probably shot digitally? Yeah, that's fairly new movie.
It just came out like in 2016 or 17 or something.
At least, yeah, somewhere around there. Wasn't that? It's not that old. I didn't really care for the second one as much.
Yeah, neither. 2016 is when it came out. Yeah, I didn't. I liked the first one though.
Oh yeah, the first one's a classic, and I thought didn't Shout say something like they were releasing the first one too? I thought.
Maybe if
I haven't seen it.
They haven't finished it or something.
Maybe that one they'll actually do something for.
Yeah, that would be nice. Why Billy Bob Thornton can talk about it,
I'll have to look at it because I could have swore that the Blu-ray I had both the R-rated and unrated version anyway. So I'm like, what is the point of this version? I don't get it.
All right.
And all the special features look like the same shit, and nothing said new.
Yeah, I just think it's just another re-release type thing.
You motherfuckers. We've had this conversation before, Shout.
Exactly. And also we got says Fargo, the Fargo 4K looks like it's coming on October 25th.
That has still not been official yet, though, has it? That's one that they keep hinting at.
Well, yeah, I don't think Shout has ever actually come out and confirmed it, but according to Unobstructed View, Fargo 4K is coming October 25th from Shout Select, but that's still not from Shout themselves. So,
yeah, because we've been talking about that.
Yes.
For how long now, Valiant? That one's been rumored since the beginning of the show.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So
that's what I said. I keep seeing like a new post every other day, like Fargo confirmed, but not by Shout Factory. Also,
right.
yeah, and we're getting close to the big titles here, but one more Shout Factory title that was confirmed before we get to the big titles here is The Last Detail with Jack Nicholson. Yeah,
it's actually a pretty good film. It also has Randy Quaid in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's a pretty good movie. It's kind of a dramedy. God, it's been like 20 years since I've seen it on video, but it is a really good. It's a pretty poignant film. I'm trying to remember who directed it. But basically, what it's about is Jack Nicholson and this other MP are taking Randy Quaid to jail, and so they're like, "Well, this is like his last night out. Let's show him a good time," kind of thing. And so, that, of course, mishaps ensue. But it's a pretty poignant film about just just friendship and life in general, and it's put in this kind of story about like camaraderie between men in the military and stuff. And it's one of Jack's lesser known films, but it is one that when it first came out, I remember it being a pretty big deal. I think he even got, I don't know if he got nominated for it or if somebody else, like Randy or somebody got nominated for it. But like, I remember getting some buzz when it first came out. Or he's a Navy MP, I think it is, or something like that.
Yeah, I think they're in the Navy. It says it's directed by Hal Ashby.
Okay, yeah, Hal Ashby did it. Okay, yeah. And I can't remember if Jack maybe wrote it or somebody else wrote it too. That was somebody's. Oh, Sally Struthers is topless in it. Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty good movie. It's a lesser known of Nicholson's films as far as now. It just kind of got lost to time, but it never got like 20 re-releases on video either. Like the version I saw was a really old beat up VHS. So,
yeah, I've never seen it. I believe that's coming out in October too on 4K. So yeah, I might have to check that out. I've never seen that. Sounds pretty good actually. Yeah.
All three leads were nominated. Thank you, Steven.
There you go.
See, I knew it was kind of a big deal when it came out. It was a pretty one of Jack's more prestigious films, was my point. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
And that was like near the beginning of Randy's career too. At that point, like he was real young in that, because like it's like 1979 or 8, something like that. I think it came out.
Yeah, I think it was like 70. I just had it up and I closed it out.
77. It may have even been earlier than that. I can't remember now. I think it was the movie Jack did right after Cuckoo's Nest. To be honest with you, yeah, I was just gonna say right around Cuckoo's Nest. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Was it remade as Chasers? I never knew that. Interesting. But with that, let's get into some bigger announcements. How about we start with the shitty covers? You want to start with the shitty covers?
The Halloween, the shitty covers.
Okay. Well, this is something we've talked about for a while. Covers. But we can't fuck up the set.
I know.
And there we go. We got Halloween, Curse of Michael Myers, H2O, and
the 1995 to 2002 collection. It's like we might as well call it the nobody gives a shit collection.
You want H2O, and that's it.
Yeah, that's what. I kind of like Curse of Michael Myers because how it's kind of.
No, okay.
Bad,
seriousness, Shout did address this. They were unable to release these separately. So for those who just wanted to get H2O or the first 6 and 7 or not Halloween Resurrection.
Yeah. I heard it's due to the licensing agreement with that's why they have to be released together.
And I believe it'd be Paramount now, because last I knew Paramount was the one who bought up the Dimension Miramax catalog. That doesn't surprise me so much, but shit, at this point, if you got the first 5, and there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more upset that they're forcing me to get fucking posters with it.
It's just the artwork, man. I get that at least they're trying.
What's sad is the best one of all of these is Resurrection.
It is. It's true. Busta Rhymes.
Because that is totally not the mask from Halloween H2O. That looks more like the one from the first film for some reason.
Okay.
That actually looks like the one from Resurrection. That one actually looks like the Curse of Michael Myers. That one's not so bad. I just hate this motif. I didn't like this motif from the start.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I mean, I'm a big fan of the discs that I have, but I'm not a big fan of the packaging they're in.
Yeah, the packaging is bad. I mean, like I said, at least we could give them credit for hiring an actual artist instead of just using crappy thing, but it's crappy artwork. from a crappy artist.
Right.
So, Gary from Pop Culture Minefield
Yes.
could have did these covers
Gary Kissel,
100 times better.
I agree. And even on that note, Lo, I don't know if there's going to be any new features, but we are getting both cuts of the Curse of Michael Myers.
I wonder if
in
they'll
4K.
I was going to say, yeah.
Both of them are going to be in 4K. So you get the original and the producer's cut in 4K. I don't know if there's going to be any new features, but I'm kind of upset because Halloween H2O has a ton of deleted scenes.
Right? There's so much stuff that was changed and edited in that film that we never will get to see, probably.
I mean, even if they were to throw on one of those chunky fucking, because I think I have it somewhere on a disc. There is an earlier cut of the film out there from VHS.
Yeah.
Like, even if they were just to throw that on, kind of like that Ghoulies mess that we were talking about. For you don't know this, Valiant. On I don't know how they got away with this, but on the foreign release of Ghoulies, they have 2 different TV versions. They did not remove the commercials.
Oh my God.
So they have all, like, how did they clear all this shit?
I know.
Like, there's no fucking way. I mean, yeah, some of those commercials, the products are no longer around, but we're talking about all the music licensing and shit that are on those commercials and stuff. Like, and you got movie trailers and other things and stuff in there that I'm just like, how the hell did they get away with it? I think they just threw them on there. Like, that's what me and Greg came up with. We're just like, I think they just said, we'll just ask for forgiveness later. Kind of thing.
Yeah. Just like popped it on there and just,
we're not going to do any work. Just put it on as is. Nobody's going to sue us for the, in foreign markets, the 5 people that are going to buy this.
That's just it. Exactly. Yeah. Like, yeah, I think they were just taking the chance.
Yeah.
Or I said, maybe the law works a little different over there to where they were able to get away with it for some free, like maybe it falls under fair use.
Maybe part of it was like, hey, look, we're going to be the whole television experience by giving you all of the television commercial nostalgia.
That's what they did.
Yeah.
So,
and one of them is from the late 80s. So it's like the one of them's from 87. So you get all the commercials from 87. And then the second one is from the late 90s, early 2000s off of the WB before it was CW. And they even have like WB advertisements and stuff on there for Smallville and shit.
It's crazy. I swear they just probably was like, nobody's going to watch these anyway, so just put them on there. That's probably
it's probably easier to ask for forgiveness, and like you said, Valiant, nobody's going to take the time.
Nobody's going to care. So. Yeah.
But so yeah, I don't know about any new features because they didn't really add anything to the first 5, did they? For the re-release,
I don't think so much the first one, but around the 4th and the 5th one. And the 4th and 5th one got the most new special features. The first 3 didn't really get much at all. So
they may do some extras for this. It'd be nice if they actually got the video for Creed for H2O. But that's one of the only things they haven't carried over yet from the DVD.
Is there a video from Creed?
Yeah, they did What's This Life For?
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. I forgot to mention they were all Creed crazy back then.
Yeah, and they actually had it on the original DVD, even though the DVD said there was a commentary from the director and Jamie Lee Curtis that was not on there. Does it exist? Let's get it on the damn movie if it exists, please. Well, that was one of the worst DVDs when it was released. It was letterboxed.
It was bad. I got that Blu-ray.
Some decent special features. Yeah.
Yeah, I got the Blu-ray with all 3 of these on Blu-ray.
Oh, I had the old one when Disney still owned Dimension, like that old original release.
Oh man.
Yeah, and I gave it to somebody. I wish I hadn't because it had like that music video and stuff on it. I didn't realize that they didn't carry that over. I was like, shit.
See, and they wonder why we double dip and triple dip sometimes because I know some people hate that.
All you get is like the Mill Creek version.
Exactly.
Which is also funny because I bought the Mill Creek Blu-ray of these. And H2O is open matte. So you actually get to see more at the top and the bottom of the picture.
That's one I have. That's one I have.
Yeah, it's open matte.
Yeah.
It's only 2.0 stereo, but it's like, wow. And the quality, it's almost the same as, it seems like that's the same one they used for the other original Blu-ray release. But this is supposed to be a new scan, hopefully. And we'll see how good these stack up compared to the first 5 discs.
Yeah, and you count on if there's any new special features, I will probably do a video on it like I usually do with some of the bigger titles. So,
but we did get some other announcements from Shout.
Yes. Do you want to do Zombies or An Excellent Adventure?
Let's do Zombies first. This is one that gets... this is a little interesting one because this is one that's been out of print
and I'm looking forward to this one because do you want to party?
Said more
Return of,
paramedics.
yes, the Return of the Living Dead is coming to 4K from Shout on October 19th, and I am truly looking forward to this one because I missed out on this Scream Shout Factory Blu-ray, and it's been OP and outrageous amounts of money for a very long time. I have the studio release, which isn't bad, but I'm definitely upgrading to 4K on this one. It's just it's one of my favorites.
Are you a fan of this one, Valiant?
Yeah, the 85. Yeah. No, I actually I just watched it, I think, last year for the first time in, oh my God, it might have been 15, 20 years. It had been a while. And I forgot, I was watching it. I'm like, God, I forgot how much I love this movie. It was just so funny.
It's so great. It's not a lifestyle, or it is a lifestyle. That's what he says.
It is your quintessential 80s cheese, and it's done very well.
Perfectly. Dan O'Bannon, Leanna Quigley, all-time greatest scream queen there. I love that. This is a great film.
I wonder if they're going to be able to get that one last song. Because wasn't there one song they couldn't get the rights to or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
This release?
I can't remember the song, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Because when they released this the last time, the out-of-print version that you pay a lot of money for on eBay right now, which is, I think the price is going to plummet.
Hey, that's a good thing for people who don't want 4K.
Yeah. I think they weren't able to get all but one song for the last release. And that had been the first time since it was seen in theaters where it had the original soundtrack, because the video, all subsequent video and DVD releases had the alternate soundtrack, unless you recorded it off of HBO or television,
right?
Or bought this more recent release. You had that, which was the closest to the most complete version. Because for those who don't know, much like with the problem they ran into in the early days of DVD and television shows, the music licensing was a nightmare for this movie for some reason. I think it was a lot of it because they had different bands from all over the world and stuff like that. I can't remember the
it had a really good punk soundtrack.
Yeah, a lot of punk bands, and so they were unable to release it, so they had alternate songs in throughout the film, and so now it's been restored for the most part. Hopefully this time around they'll actually get to finalize it, and we'll see. I haven't heard anything more recent, so.
Yeah, and I'm hoping to get some see if they add any new special features. So it's going to be a new 4K scan, it looks like. And this is a great flick. And if it wasn't for George Romero and I can't remember the guy's name, their little split of the rights, we wouldn't have got this movie. So I like it. So.
Because of the original film not having
the original Night of the Living Dead, yeah. Copyright
and
thing.
I always kind of considered this as sort of in the Night of the Living Dead kind of
well family. It's something like that's why there was no more, like when George Romero did Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead, he was not allowed to use living because he had to return Night of the Living Dead, he was no longer allowed to use the Living Dead part for whatever reason, somehow the way they wrote it. And that's why the Return of the Living Dead was sort of like pseudo sequels. It's all convoluted type stuff, but something like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I mean they even play this movie up like the first movie was a true story, based on a true story. Yeah. But it's an interesting satirical romp just in time for Halloween, and for those who've been waiting to see it again on Blu-ray, who didn't get it the last time, now you get to see it in a brand new 4K version. So
I'm looking forward to it because I got the Shout Night of the Living Dead, Return of the Living Dead Part 2. So I want to get the Shout 4K of the first one. So that's awesome.
Now, our last title here, unless there was any more besides this.
No, I believe that's about it.
The last title, you almost have to dig for some reason on Shout's website. But I was not I wasn't totally surprised when I heard this movie's coming, because I think I even mentioned this a little while back.
Goddamn time.
Yes. I remember mentioning that this is going to be coming sooner than later. But yes, we finally have coming via Shout Select, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure on 4K Blu-ray. Now I already have the 4K Studio Canal release, and according to our friend Jedi Master in the chat, it is said to be the same as the Studio Canal transfer. But the HDR, there was I would say some color issues. The HDR was a bit dark. But I'm assuming that Shout will do their own Dolby Vision and HDR grading, and fingers crossed they'll do a Dolby Atmos soundtrack as well. Nice. What do you think, Valiant?
Maybe. I hope they do. This is kind of one of those things I want to wait and see until somebody like Blu-ray.com gets their hands on it and does a test. That's what I'm kind of waiting for, because I'm looking. They've already tested a couple of titles that I have on pre-order that I'm very happy with what they said that they're going to be. But this is one of those, like you said, it just depends on, are they really just going to reuse everything right off the bat, or are they going to do something different? I mean, Starship Troopers is about to get the 25th anniversary steelbook.
Oh yes,
and they're changing. That's all right. No, I was going to say that's kind of one of those things where I'm very pleased with the 4K Starship Troopers that I have. It's absolutely exquisite. It's got HDR10. The new one has or HD10 or whatever it is. This one has HDR. It's a Dolby Vision HDR. This has the upgraded version of HDR on the new one. Now, is that going to make a night and day difference? I highly doubt it, because the first one was so damn good. Am I going to rebuy it? Probably not. But this is kind of one of those, I'd like to see what they're really going to change or do, if anything, to it versus what we've seen before.
Yeah. And that's at least with me. I'm like, I don't mind these double dipping on these 4K releases as long as they do something like that. And at least Sony, for the most part, outside of I think their Spider-Man and their Men in Black re-releases, they have gone back and done a Dolby Vision upgrade and stuff like that. So that at least like Labyrinth did that. They're doing it now, like you said, with Starship Troopers. They did it with Karate Kid. Ghostbusters, they went back and gave the Dolby Vision treatment. So that's why I might actually get the steelbook of Starship Troopers, because I think it looks kind of cool. It's one of those rare steelbooks that
It does look pretty cool, but like I'm just interested to see, when it comes out, how it is received by the critics that I usually pay attention to. If they tell me, well, it's a barely noticeable improvement over the original edition, or it's it's a totally different color grade. The HDR makes things even look better. I mean, I'm not at all displeased with the one I have. So be curious to see.
I mean, I'm kind of upset that Shout isn't doing like a 4K trilogy box set of Bill and Ted. It'd be nice.
Yeah, that'd be nice too. And like with Shout Select.
Yeah, because the final film hasn't even got released in the US on 4K. It was a foreign release, and it didn't have any HDR. Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, I was gonna say, with Shout Select, you never know, because like we've talked about before, sometimes it's something really good, and sometimes you get like Liar Liar, which is just the previous Blu-ray with like maybe one special feature added to it or something. So hopefully they'll do something for it.
Yeah, because it'd be nice to have a nice 4K Blu-ray set of all three films, especially now that they're done. Have a nice trilogy set. Rebring all the special features over from the Ultimate Bill and Ted collection, and yeah, I think it'd be nice to have all that together. But I'm looking forward to this. Hopefully it looks better than the Studio Canal version. I was not very impressed with that one either. So we'll try and let you guys know. I'll do my best to compare and contrast when I do get it. This is coming beginning of October. So
yes, it was October. I just had it here in a minute. Hold on.
And this is only going to be the 4K Blu-ray. I don't know if you guys saw that when I was scrolling down. Like,
there's October 18th.
Yep. Well, this says 11 right here on the thing, but I think you get a little early. I think you get a little early if you order it through Shout. So I'll actually have it on that, hopefully by that 11th day, because I ordered it straight from Shout. So yeah, we'll see on that, and I'll let you guys know if it looks any better, if there's any real good reason to upgrade. So, because I've seen some people already said they had like gotten the steelbook a while back, imported probably from Zavi, I suppose. Yeah, right. If it don't look any better than the Studio Canal, I'll let you guys know. So, and I do hope they upgrade the soundtrack, because I was not a big fan of MGM's 5.1 mixes of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and especially a Bogus Journey. Yeah, because the Bogus Journey one is a horrible 5.1 mix. They really screwed it up. I don't know if I think I've talked about this with Greg, but I don't know if I talked about it with you, Valiant.
I remember hearing about this, so I bet that we must have at some point.
Or I may have said it on the stream and you were watching or something, but like, yeah, like that's one of the few times where I'll actually flip over, and I'm glad that the Shout version included the 2.0 track, because it's in my opinion, far superior to the 5.1 mix, which just is blah.
Yeah.
And then Colt Seaman sends in $10. Thank you so much. It says, Bill and Ted on for what 4K? No way. Yes way, Ted. Yes, and actually it's already been released in 4K. So like I said, this isn't a huge surprise, but what will be a surprise is if that would have been a new scan or something like that, because I'm not even sure the Studio Canal scan comes from the negative. To be honest with you, I think it comes from like the inner positive or something like that. It's not the best looking scan in the world, but this movie has a tumultuous history. So I've heard a rumor that they don't even know where the negative is.
Oh man, that sucks.
Still in the phone booth.
And actually, I think I might have actually somewhat had that sort of confirmed by Ed Sullivan, if I remember from a conversation we had once, where he was like, yeah, I'm not so sure they know where those are.
Maybe they'll get lucky one day and find it.
Well, for those who don't know, this movie was one of the Orion movies that they released, but it sat on a shelf for a year. And yeah, it almost got released straight to video for a while, and it was all this other stuff. And then, like, I think it changed hands at one point right before Orion got a hold of it. It was a part of a Nelson company or something like that, and a company that like went under. So like it sat in limbo for a while. So they may not even know where all the original shit's at. That's what I'm thinking, because there's deleted scenes that have yet to see the light of day too. There's like a whole dance sequence that's cut out of the beginning of the film.
That's crazy.
There's pictures of it that it exists.
And
there was a whole nother ending too that was cut out of the film too.
Really? I didn't know about
the
ending.
prom. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the prom. Yeah, I knew that. Never mind. I was thinking something different.
And all that exists is photos, but we've never seen any video footage or anything resurface of it. And Shout went scouring for that, and all because there's a ton of shit for Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. Because I even asked Ed Sullivan, I'm like, did you film the other versions of that stuff? And he's like, I don't think we did, but he goes, there's some stuff that we know we didn't get in the movie. So, like, I don't know if it's as extensive as we think, but there's a ton of changes in that second film, too. Because he said they went back and rewrote that whole third act. And that's when Station became a thing. Because that was their response to them pissing them off and having to change the third act. He goes, it's in my interview with him.
Yeah,
we were getting punchy late at night, and we deleted everything, and all that was left was the word station from police station. And we just kept looking at each other and going, station. Station. So they're like, let's put this fucking character in called Station that only makes sense to us. And they knew the studio didn't want him in there. They're like, what can we get rid of this station alien thing? And like, no, it stays in the movie. And they're the only ones who got the joke, of course, right? Like, so that's the whole thing. Yeah. Because it was their little fuck you to them. And then they changed the ending again. That's the thing that I was getting to, because like because there was another version, then there was the version that's in the comic books that I was trying to ask Ed if they shot all that, and he doesn't remember if they shot it all, but he does know that they did shoot at least the revenge sequence with the big versions of like the bunny, the granny, and the military guy, Colonel Oates. Like, because there's plenty of pictures and shit. Yeah, there's plenty of pictures and evidence that they did shoot that. So he's like, we did shoot that, so that leads me to believe that we shot all the other stuff too. Because in the original ending, Denomalos doesn't get arrested; he gets blown the fuck up, and he ends up in hell. And the end of the story for him is Death walks up to him and he goes, "Would you like to play a game?"
That's cool.
So like there was a whole different alternate ending that I'm pretty sure got shot, because there is evidence that it exists. So like that's the thing. So these two movies have a lot of stuff out there somewhere in the ether. And not only that, I would love to get the entire animated show, especially the first season on Blu-ray. That'd be nice. Yeah. And even though it's atrocious, I would still love decent versions of that live action series. Just to have it as a time capsule. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it. It's bad. I really hope that if they do that, they don't let the people who did the RoboCop TV series do that. God damn. Because that seems like something they would do.
I'm still thinking about going and getting the DVDs instead, because I heard they actually look better. Colt Seaman says, I'm going to get some food. So here's a question to feast on your brains. What movie do you really want to see be perfectly transferred to 4K where watching it feels like seeing the movie for the first time. Well, that's the beauty of 4K, is sometimes it does feel that way. I think I know what Valiant's answer is going to be, but
for which,
let's start with, I think it's Aliens for you.
Go ahead, Greg.
Yeah, well, I sort of already have mine. Superman the movie. That's mine.
It'd be nice to get the alternate cuts in 4K.
Yeah, it would be nice to get the alternate cuts on 4K and everything. Perfectly, all 3 cuts of the film, perfectly on 4K. Like seeing it for the first time, that would be amazing. But yeah, like that or The Thing, which I already got. So that's like my favorite.
The Thing was amazing.
Yeah,
that on 4K.
Yeah, Superman the movie is my favorite. So perfectly pristine 4K. Just like takes me back to being a kid again. It's like seeing it for the first time all over again. That would be amazing. Which, I mean, it's the 4K I have is great, but yeah, that would be my go-to.
There's a number of them. I'd have to make a list, but yeah, I think Aliens certainly would be at the top of that list. Like I said, I know I've been waiting for The Abyss. I really love that film, and it's kind of one of those things. It's probably going to be for me more the films that have been neglected over the years, like we never got a good Blu-ray transfer or any Blu-ray transfer, or we never got, even in some cases, a DVD transfer. So if you go back and look, we got Blu-rays of Aliens, but we never got that of The Abyss. So Abyss might be further up the chain for me, actually, just for that reason alone, because the last copy that I have of The Abyss is on Laserdisc.
Dang.
And it probably looks better than that early DVD transfer.
The early DVD transfer looked like ass.
Yeah.
No, I kept my Laserdisc. I never bought it on DVD for that reason. As soon as I saw it, I was like,
because they added all that interlacing shit.
Yeah, they tried to. Yeah, no, the DVD, or excuse me, the Laserdisc version. Again, I think it might even be a CAV edition. I have
probably,
which was the higher.
Right,
the higher
constant
quality.
Yeah.
I'd have to go back and look, but I have it. It's still, neatly tucked away in an air-conditioned locker. So it's, those things have been kept up well. But yeah, I'd love to see a Blu-ray, or excuse me, a 4K of The Abyss, and we should be hopefully seeing it soon here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm curious what he did with that. So
hopefully he didn't fuck it up.
Yeah, I hope he didn't like smooth it out and everything, man. That's just DNR it to hell. That would be awful.
Him and Peter Jackson in that bullshit, I tell you.
Yeah.
Well, but it's more detrimental to a movie like The Abyss because it was shot in this older film grain. You really cannot.
You did. You must not have saw Get Back, the Beatles documentary, did you?
No, I did not. Why, he DNR'd the hell out of it?
Yeah, Peter Jackson. Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, he smoothed out some stuff and DNR'd it real bad.
Damn. Well, that's disappointing.
The 35 millimeter footage isn't as bad because clearly he didn't fudge with that as much since it was more clarity to it.
Mm-hmm.
But all the 16 millimeter footage is horrible.
Oh.
Yeah, Peter loves his DNR.
Well, shit.
And that's why I'm like, why are we not getting a 4K with this? You fucking mangled the picture already as it is. It's 4K on Disney Plus. Why isn't that not a 4K Blu-ray release of this?
Yeah.
It's a great documentary though. Don't let that kind of like push you away from seeing it, because it's great. And the sound is more important in this documentary than anything, right? Because he used that new technology.
Yeah.
He used that new technology and it sounds amazing. And you can actually hear things better. And I mean, I've seen tons of clips and stuff from Let It Be, and it is some of that stuff's almost unwatchable. This is amazing. It's like being a fly on the wall. And even if you're not a huge Beatles fan or a Beatles fan in general, it's just interesting to see these guys who were considered, the best of all time, and they have no fucking idea what they're doing. That's really kind of the whole point of it, is like they're just getting into it and they're just like, we really don't know what we're going to do. Like, we just have to get 12 songs together or 10. Just get this done. It's not going to be a movie anymore. I don't know what it's going to be, but we got to do something. Like, they're sitting there going through the whole thing, trying to plan it. They've only got like 4 songs and shit. It's just like you're like, how are they going to pull this off? Because they have a time frame they have to hit. There's a ticking clock. That's the beauty of it. because Ringo has to go shoot a movie, so they have to get done by this date. So like they're scrambling trying to figure out, because they had promised a film and then they had promised a special to ABC and all this other shit. So they're like trying to figure out what to, and it's the cool thing is you watch, you know, one of the most famous albums come together, and guess what? It wasn't planned. It was just haphazardness. Like, it was just complete insanity. The fucking band breaks up in the middle of the whole fucking thing on top of it all. Like George just up and stops showing up. Like, it is hilarious in some bits, but it's also just kind of like crazy to be like, wow, this is how we got to there. Because you would think that they're just getting in there and they like know exactly what they're doing, and they threw all the songs together and they knew exactly what the the idea of the album was gonna be. Fuck no, they had no idea what the hell they were doing. And then the beauty of it is you get to sit there and watch Paul actually write the song "Get Back" in real time. Like he's just fucking around on his bass and he gets the dum da da 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 dum da dum, and then all of a sudden he just adds the dum dum, and then all of a sudden you see it click in his head, you know, and it just, you watch that whole evolution of that song being written in real time, and it's just wow. It's almost like seeing history being made. It's really weird, but I would love to see more things like that.
Huh?
Yeah.
Like I said, even if you're not a Beatles fan, it was. Yeah. And yes, Abbey Road was actually recorded before that. I think you're right, Coffin Nails, but it was released after. So this was technically the last time the Beatles performed together and did anything together. Yeah. So yeah, it was an interesting watch. It's a long watch, but it's interesting. But yes, thank you, Colt Seaman, for sponsoring this episode of 4K for You. And my pick for movie that I would want on 4K Blu-ray that I haven't gotten yet is an easy one. That would be the 1990, 91, 93 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle films.
Oh, yes, yes.
And then if I couldn't get those, at least the Nightmare on Elm Street films. So there you go.
Oh, yeah. That's what I should chose. Because I already got Superman and Nightmare on Elm Street.
You already got
those. That's what I said. There's so many of them out there I can think of. That would be at least the first, 3 to 4.
Right.
Well, unfortunately, I already have Jaws, which is a beautiful transfer. I've got Gremlins. Pretty much when Jaws, to be honest with you guys, this is no joke. Because Bill Hunt and I used to go back and forth about 4K all the time. And I said, all right, fine. When Jaws gets released on Blu-ray, I will break down and get a 4K Blu-ray player. When it gets released in 4K, I meant.
Yeah.
And sure as shit, Jaws gets released. I'm like, all right, I said I was going to do it. So I set myself up and I never looked back. Yep. That was the movie that got me where I'm at now with 4K. Like seeing that, and that literally was, as you just asked, Colt, like seeing the movie. And I have seen Jaws more times than you can imagine. And I will watch it again because it is my favorite film of all time. And it looks so, even though that Blu-ray that just came out I had was from that same 4K beautiful master, it still looked like a brand new fucking movie. You're just, wow. How in the hell did they manage to make this look so good? I've never, and Steven even says it in the restoration documentary, which is one of my favorite restoration documentaries. Like, if you want to know the process they go through to do this, that documentary on that disc is one of the best out there. And he says flat out, this movie looks better than it did when I released it in theaters in 1975. And they say that shit all the time, but he really means it this time.
Yeah, and it's true. It does. Because
they scanned it in 6K, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Yeah, now that when you start thinking about it, it's like, all kinds of movies now. And then some of your favorites of all times have already got it. So you go back and you could think like a million different movies. It's crazy. And I know there's a 4K of the Rockies. I would like to see the Rockies again. I know
that's something you forgot, actually, Greg.
Yes.
And that was going to be the main post before we picked Bill and Ted.
No, yes.
So maybe we'll save that when we have a little bit more information on that, because I think it's been rumored, but then quasi-confirmed by Stallone. But we have all this Rocky business going on right now, so we'll see what happens here. But the rumor is via Warner Brothers, for some reason, we're getting the Rocky heavyweight collection in 4K, it sounds like, right?
Right. But, with everything going on with, the producer and everything, it's who knows?
So take that with a grain of salt at this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was assuming, because the first Rocky's already had a 4K master forever.
Mm-hmm.
We know that the new Rocky 4, the new version of Rocky 4 was put out in 4K and digital. So chances are they had to scan all the original shit for Rocky 4 anyway. So we know at least those two movies are likely in 4K. And I'm trying to remember, was there scenes from 2 and 3? I think there was scenes from 2 and 3 in Rocky 4. So they probably scanned Rocky 2 and 3 at the same time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did like flashback moments.
Yeah, so like all that shit was all probably my guess is they probably scanned all 6 movies at the same time.
Probably. But yeah, when you go back to looking through movies, you just can think of so many. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, we're going to wrap things up here, but we aren't going to be here next week unless something extreme happens, and then maybe Greg and I will do a special quick show. But other than that, next week we are going to be taking a break, and then we will return. And maybe when we return, we'll have some more news on Rocky. So fingers crossed on that one. Otherwise, until then, sorry we don't have much time today to take any more questions. I would love to, but Valliant has to run. And Greg and I will be streaming again later on the Physical Media Show. So do catch us on FanZcene. But Valliant, do you have anything going on or anything that you recently released you'd like to plug before we head out?
No, nothing in particular. Like I said, I'm trying to experiment with the shorts right now because that's what YouTube wants me to do. Because it's like everybody else right now is getting killed on YouTube. But that being said, like I said, I'm going to try to do something tomorrow with the Warner Brothers Discovery first quarterly report since the Reverse Trust Morris merger concluded. And next Wednesday, one of the reasons why, I might be able to slide in if y'all decide to do a show. Don't wait on my account. But the Walt Disney quarterly report will be happening Wednesday next week, also at about 3:30 Central Standard Time. So that
should be done by then, but
yeah, we should be. That should be wrapped up.
Well, it just seems to be the norm lately. We just had this conversation. Like, it seems like every other week. Season. Well, not just that in general. With when it comes to 4K news, it seems like every other week is when we actually get a good amount of releases. Because otherwise, if we've gone week to week to week, it seems like we have like nothing to talk about for every other week.
That's true.
So we'll see how it goes. If we end up getting a bunch of Kino announcements or Criterion announcements or something, you never know. But at this point, they've already dumped a bunch of announcements the early part of this month. Maybe by the middle of the month, they will drop more. So unless there's something major that gets dropped between now and then, we'll take a break for next week and we'll kind of play it by ear from there. And I think that's kind of how we're going to do it from here on out. Probably every other week, it sounds like. So for now, we'll play that as the plan.
We'll see how it goes.
We'll work on the actual timing schedule. Like, I don't know if we're going to stick to this time period for the future, or if we'll be going back to our 5 o'clock, but stay tuned to the community board. I will let you guys know as soon as I know. But with that, Greg, was there anything else you had to plug besides your show tonight?
No, just my show. And if you want to go check out
videos.
Yeah, I dropped if you're a fan of Sorority Babes and the Slime Bowl-orama, we actually got news on the sequel that's coming. And then I dropped my video on Bring Back the Art of Cover Art. So if you guys want to check those out, catch us tonight on the Physical Media Show.
Indeed.
Cool. So, and by next Wednesday, if we do manage to pull a show off, or even the following Wednesday, I will have watched and have in my possession both Heat in 4K and Event Horizon in 4K.
Oh, it's funny you mentioned that because some people are complaining about how dark Heat looks.
Oh really?
Because some people got the preview copies already.
Well, I'm looking at the reviews of the preview copies for both Heat and Event Horizon over on blu-ray.com, and they seemed fairly pleased with it. So I don't know. Maybe.
Well, I heard some people were upset because actually the 4K version's been on digital streaming for quite some time. I even have it. I haven't watched it yet, though, but people said that it has a huge blue wash throughout the entire film, and that might not help.
On the digital version.
Yeah, and I guess it's a Michael Mann who did that.
Yeah.
So he wanted it to be a blue hue throughout the entire film. So that might add to the trouble of it looking darker with a HDR grading on disc.
It's possible.
So we'll see.
I'll be interested to see what it looks like. I mean,
yeah,
right
I'm
now,
supposed to get the Steelbook by next week too. Yeah, myself. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, right now Blu-ray's got it listed at they gave it a 4.5 out of 5, and they gave Event Horizon a 4 out of 5, saying that one's going to be a real crowd pleaser.
There you go.
So, yeah.
Well,
Hopefully they're right.
It's just something to be nitpicky about, and it's not as bad as Out of Sight. Although I would not want to discourage anybody from getting the Out of Sight 4K Blu-ray, despite that small issue I had with it. It's still definitely worth it. It's a great transfer. It's just those two scenes really are the only ones that are affected. It's a scene in the beginning when J-Lo is talking to her dad, and then the Detroit scenes are kind of the only ones really truly affected. But it doesn't make the film unwatchable in any way.
Okay. Well, good.
Yeah. But you will probably tell, though. It's like something that stuck out to me right away. I'm like, something right here. And I threw
I'm anxious to watch those two things next week when I get them. So I'll be looking forward to talking about them next time.
Yeah, Victor's saying the Blu-ray for Heat looks better than the 4K. The 4K is way darker. So yeah, there's some people, that's what I've been hearing about. That might be something though. And here's the thing. Real quick, because I know you got to run, Valiant. Dolby Vision can be finicky, so can HDR sometimes. Yep. Sometimes you just got to adjust your set accordingly. I've heard this from a lot of people, even people that are very like deep into like the technical side of things. They will say like, oh yeah, there is no substandard for this. Your best bet is to always just flip on the filmmaker mode. And if it's too dark, just turn up your bright a little bit, because the filmmaker mode will make it a little darker sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it's the way they calibrate it. So if that's the case, you just got to turn up the bright a little bit. I mean, sometimes that'll fix the problem right there. Or the contrast might even help a little bit. More so the bright, I'm assuming. But unless Valiant has any other...
I'd have to see it. I mean, if I pop it in and it really strikes me as being something like, well, this is way out of whack. This is out of range. This is too much.
Yeah, if you can't adjust it yourself, then yeah, you'll let us know.
I mean, because there's a lot of very dark scenes in that movie, let's be honest. So, I mean, we'll see how much. I mean, the thing for me is if I watch the Blu-ray, which is the Blu-ray I have is a very pretty Blu-ray. Let's be honest. It was a well-done transfer. I mean, I don't recall anything in there that jumps out at me where the shadow details and the blacks were being crushed. Mm-hmm. So if I see that here, where all of a sudden, like, okay, all my shadow details gone, the blacks have been completely crushed, and okay, well then that's an issue, right? And if you can't even gain it up, but I shouldn't have to gain it up. My TV is calibrated right to where it should be.
Yeah, but I've heard that due to like just subvariances in some of the houses that are putting this shit out, sometimes you might have to tweak it 2-3%.
You do, but
this is the beauty of it. Most TVs you can do like tons of like personal settings, so you could probably make yourself like 2 or 3 different settings that work on an average for you, so you can just jump through and test them.
Yep,
in the future, and then that way, that's one way of knowing too. But like that'll be interesting to hear from you, Valent. I'll also test it and let you guys know what I think, and if Greg gets a chance to, I'm sure he'll let you guys know what he thinks as well. So thank you so much.
Event Horizon, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm more worried about the heat as far as that goes. I think the Event Horizon will probably be fine, but we will see. They fucked up on Escape from LA with the audio, so.
Well, supposedly Event Horizon still using the same 5.1.
Yeah, that part I don't think is going to be a problem, but they did the same thing for Escape from LA. They just fucked up somewhere in the process. So do you remember what happened with that one or no?
Vaguely. I remember we talked
Escape from LA, they had the center channel coming from every channel.
Oh, from every channel. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember that now.
Yeah, it's like pretty much unwatchable if you have a 5.1 system or above, because it's like the voices are coming from everywhere, and it's just like
It is a little
so with that, I want to thank everybody again, and the links are in the description for the boys, so do yourself a favor and check out their channels in the meantime if you haven't already. And with that, I'm going to take us out.
Well, thank you, Dr. Malcolm.
Peace.
But I think things are a little bit different